Yeah, make sure I'm on vibrate.
Robin, somebody that you referred is coming by here tomorrow.
Awesome.
The one lady that moved from Durham?
That's who interviewed me yesterday. That's who, Teresa B. Yeah, Nita, yeah. Awesome, good, yeah. She's really good. She does her show online through StreamYard, but she's looking for she's just looking for a location.
All right, if you're ready, we're gonna go ahead and do it. Beautiful as always. All right. Let me check something on your Facebook page. And make sure it's showing up. A lot of times it'll come up friends only.
Yeah, make sure it's public.
Yep, that's what it came up.
This is the best part, being able to host a show without this. I'm doing both.
Oh yeah, where somebody does it for you.
Yeah, I'd rather just show up and just.
See, that's why I don't do my show now, because I don't have a producer.
Yeah, hashtag
I'm just like,
RSTN
this
and
whatever.
Focus Forward Robin.
When I hire somebody again,
I want to say talk.
well, the young man that,
Are we ready?
story.
Okay.
Yeah, I was closing your Facebook all the way down, but it's on straight now. All right, you ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everyone. This is your girl, Robin Shockley, with the Focus Forward Robin Show, and we are here today at the Regina Sunshine Global Network, where we come on here and we have guests come and they share their pit to purpose stories. And I'm so excited. We've got an amazing show scheduled. I have 3 amazing guests in the studio today. But first, I want to go over some announcements and some of our sponsors that we have that is with the show. Okay, so it's so important to connect. I'm big into networking. So I have several people that I do connect with. And one of my sponsors definitely is Heart of the Carolinas. They're located out of Malden, South Carolina. And it's a team of best friends since they were children who joined together to have a home care service to nurture the senior citizens in the community. And if you need a job, or if you need assistance, or you need someone to come in and give your family just that little extra TLC, maybe it's your grandmother, your grandpa, your great uncle, you know what? That's what we're here for. So you can either contact me, myself, or you could contact Frank and Andre at Heart of the Carolinas in Malden, South Carolina. And you can reach them on their website, which is heartofthecarolinasc.com. Or you can contact Robin Shockley, and I'll be glad to get you connected with them. Another connection that I have is with Scars of Survival magazine. I'm a contributing writer for that magazine, and I'm so excited because I have the founder of the magazine here in the room with me today. It's pretty special, and she's going to be sharing her pit to purpose story. So, and also, of course, I'm an article writer for Pain to Purpose with Miss Tangi Roseboro out of South Carolina. I love her dearly. She is an amazing woman. She definitely is a woman of honor and strength, and she does so many things. If you want to get connected with either of these magazines, maybe to write your story or to be a sponsor of the magazine, reach out to myself and I'll get you connected with them. And then also, I would love to mention Your City magazine with Miss Beverly Bircher. I write with her and just kind of like showcase different things that go on in the community, so I can get you connected with her as well. But there are some other things that I am actually connected to and I really got to take notice of. And that is one with, I am now the new face for the Extraordinary People Awards, and I'm really excited about that. And as well as the Come On Inc. Incorporated an ambassador. So I'm really excited with Dr. John Williams. And so what we do with these 2 organizations, they recognize people all around the country and the world, and they give honor to them. And so with the Come On Inc. Incorporation, what we do is we do donations through the community. So Dr. Williams, right now he's working on a sock drive, which is really awesome. And, if you would like to make donations of socks to give to the homeless, you can reach out to me because I will be giving them to him and mailing them to him. So I would love to have your support with that. And then also we have the World Women Conference and Awards Atlanta team out of Atlanta, Georgia. It's an international global organizations where we go in and we help bring leaders in the community together to grow. And we have one of the team members in here as a guest as well, Mr. Grady Taylor. He's part of the team with me, and so he's going to be sharing his Pit to Purpose story as well. So it's going to be an exciting show. And then we also have Miss Dawn Alley, who I was a stranger, but now she's become a friend, and we're going to find out her story and how we met as well. So there's lots of things that are going on, lots of people that we're connecting with as far as sponsorships and making that networking mark. And these people that are in the studio today, they have got a message that they're going to share to help give you hope and give you encouragement and give you strength to get out of your stuck mentality, to move forward into your purpose. Run with passion with it so you can develop that potential that's within. Okay, so we're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, I'm going to have my first guest, Miss Dawn Alley, up with us. Y'all stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. This is your girl, Robin Shockley, with the Focus Forward Robin Show here at the Regina Sunshine Global Network here at the Galleria Parkway in the studio today. And I have my first guest, and I'm so excited to have her because she is so beautiful. But that's not why I'm excited to have her. I met her, actually. Let's talk a little bit how we met, and then I'm going to let you talk about, yourself. But how I met Miss Dawn Alley. I was actually on my way coming to the studio. I just left an interview with Karan Joseph Riley, the actor, director, producer. He's really, big. And so I was at Starbucks, and I was like trying to get my phone charged, and she was in the parking lot. So I interrupted her, and I said, hey, is there any way that you could tell me somewhere that I could go? Because Starbucks wasn't open for sitting. And she's like, she was giving me directions where I could go charge my phone. And then I said, and she said, where are you going or something? And I was telling her I'm on my way to the studio. And she said, oh, really? Well, maybe I can get on your show sometime. And I said, okay, you have not because you asked not. So I said, tell me a little bit about yourself. So she began telling me about herself, and I'm like, I'm getting you on the show in October, because I was so impressed because of what you're going to hear her story, and you're going to hear what she does with her life, and you will know why I wanted her on this show. So welcome to the show, Miss Dawn.
Thank you.
Yes,
Hi.
yes, I'm so excited to have you on here with me. So you are just glowing today. You really are.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, well, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do today.
Okay, so today I work with a ministry called Seven Bridges to Recovery. I volunteer with them every weekend, and we
Okay.
deliver meals to the homeless and pray over people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an accountant for Capital City Home Loans. That's my day job.
Okay.
But living after my passions, working for the lost, the least,
Yes.
is something that I just have a passion for, and particularly for children. So
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a children's book
Yes. Let's
entitled I
talk about
Am
it.
Whatever I Say I Am. And this is actually for you.
Oh, you brought me a book.
Yes,
I love
yes.
it. How
And it
sweet.
is I Am Affirmations, and it's for children. Well, it's for anyone,
Yes, it
really.
is.
But it just shows that the
Ooh.
power of I Am is within us. And so all the opportunities, all the possibilities is already within you because I Am is within. So as you can
This,
see,
thank you. Oh my gosh. And everybody who follows me knows I am huge in affirmations. That was very, yes, Sacky is over there agreeing because I'm telling you, that's part of my platform when I go and do motivational speaking is because that helps people to understand that potential within, you got to shift your thinking,
Yes,
you know? And
yes.
so I love one of the things that says, I am the one who has unlimited power of authority. We have the power to take authority over our lives. You know,
Absolutely.
we can't let nobody else take authority over our lives. We do it ourselves. We tap within ourselves to get that potential. And I love this. Thank you so much for the book. I'm so excited. So let's talk about this because you said that you work with Seven Bridges. So you go out in the community and you feed the homeless and low income families
Yes,
and such and
yes.
serve them. And
Absolutely.
then so you wrote a book, but you're also a blogger.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So tell me about this blogging that you do.
So I began blogging last year, and it's funny because I tell people I'm not a writer, I'm a numbers person, and an accountant. But last year, God just put it on my heart to start writing.
Yeah.
And so everything that I have written so far is just things that He has delivered me from.
Okay.
And the whole purpose behind it is to help others who might be in that same situation
Yes.
heal through what they're going through, knowing that there is always more on the out.
I love
And,
it.
what
There's
you're in.
always hope. There's always
Always.
hope ahead. So you said that your goal is to help others because of what you went through.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Let's
Yes.
talk about it a little bit. Does it go all the way back to your childhood?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it started in my childhood, actually. So I grew up with a family that was very broken. My dad had problems with alcohol and drugs.
Okay.
So brought a lot of separation in our family. He was abusive towards my mom and became sexually abusive towards my sisters as well. And so it was like a lot of dysfunction. And my one sister, she ended up moving out like when I was about 10. She married and everything.
Okay.
And then my other sister, she tried to commit
Were
suicide a
you
bunch
the
of times.
youngest? Were you the
I'm the third.
You're the
So I have a
third.
younger brother.
Oh, okay.
So it was mostly me and him in the household because
Okay.
they were, like, my other sister was off in hospitals, and then my mom, she was dealing with a lot, dealing with all of that, so
Yeah.
she was at times in hospitals. So
Okay.
my brother and I, we went around into different church members' homes. They would take us in while my mom wasn't able to take care of us.
Wow. Where
so
was your dad?
he was, I don't know.
He didn't went
Yeah,
out the
he
picture?
was. Yeah, he was out.
Okay.
But I know his second wife found him under a bridge. Maybe that's why I served the community. But yeah, he. Since then, I had reconciled with my dad last year.
Oh.
Yeah,
That
it was.
happened to me too. Yes, I love
It
it.
was an amazing experience.
Yes.
It was just something God also called me to do, and so I went and saw him, and now we have a relationship. We talk every now and then on the phone.
I
So
love that. See, I love that because my biological dad wasn't in my life growing up. So it's not dissimilar to that, but as far as like him not being around, he wasn't in my life. And now he's one of my greatest mentors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he encourages me and pushes me to be the best version of myself. and he wasn't even in my life growing up. So, but I love how it comes around full circle, and how God brings restoration and stuff. So,
Absolutely.
because I went through. There's always root causes to things, like you said. Maybe that's why you serve the community under the bridge, yeah, and you go out because he was under the bridge. Well, that's how it was with my father. He wasn't in my life, and there was a void there. I had everybody who loved me, but because of that rejection that I felt, he wasn't in my life. It caused a lot of rejection, and I carried it into my marriage and my home, not feeling valued and appreciated and all that. But it looks how God, he loves us so much. You know what?
Yes.
He knows exactly what we need in the moment. And you know what? It's a beautiful sight to see when God can take a bad situation, somebody that was very bad before, and can turn them around and bring unity within the home. And you don't see that very often.
Absolutely.
So that's very,
Yeah.
very powerful. That's very powerful. So
Yes.
were you able to, so it happened with, your family, and you said your sister, she tried to commit suicide and everything and stuff. So when you said you made reconciliation with your dad and y'all stay in touch, so how did you get to a point of forgiving him for the way you saw he treated your mother, and then knowing what he did with your sisters?
Yeah, so at first I thought I had forgiven him years ago. Once I began like my whole relationship. And it came to me last year that I needed to see him. And I'm like, well, I've already forgiven him in my heart. So I didn't understand like what would be the purpose or why I would need to go and physically see
Yes.
him. And then God just like put this image of like dying on the bedside with none of my children there to see me. And it was just like,
He gave you empathy for
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Wow.
So I was just full with compassion.
That's God. That's
yeah,
totally God.
Yeah.
That's not a human thing, because
Yeah.
it's hard and a lot of people are still dealing with this today, because that's pretty big for God to step in. But he knew how strong that you were before you probably even knew how strong you were.
Yes, definitely,
Yes.
definitely.
Wow.
Going there, it was like an hour. I went to Ohio to see my sister, and it was like an hour drive from there. And I'm like, oh, well, surely he doesn't want me to go now to see him. And then it was like, no, I do. So we drove there. My daughter was with me. So he not only got to see one of his daughters, he got to meet one of his grandchildren. So
Oh my gosh, this reminds me of the movie Overcomer. Have you seen the movie Overcomer?
no.
By the Kendrick brothers, and the dad was not in the life. I think he did drugs or something like that, and he come back, and he ended up helping coach the girl to win the race of her life, that she was in. And I got to interview her too, thanks to Mr. Chuck Brown for that. But it was really good. You need to find the movie Overcomer,
Okay.
and that's a little plug for the Kendrick brothers. It's a Christian film. You need to check it out, because this story sounds so similar to her
Okay.
story. Amazing, amazing. I love these kind of stories, especially when you hear the success stories, because look at what you did because of that experience and everything. How did you get your healing? What took place in your life to cause you to just say, okay, I'm going to walk in forgiveness?
So I went through so much on my own. Like after my mom was very faith-based, and just growing up, I lived a lot in my imagination and developed a strong relationship with God at that point. But when I left out, I was 17 years old, moved to Georgia on my own, and began living my life under
17 years
Yes.
up to Georgia, the big
To
state
Georgia.
of Georgia?
Yes.
Wow.
So it was, I went through a lot of downfalls myself, and just realizing like we all got things we have to work through.
Yes, we do.
And it's like what someone else did is no bigger than what I have done and what I need forgiveness for. So just knowing that we all have had past, we all have had parents, we've all have had things in society that we have seen that mold us and shaped us, and our part is to heal from those experiences.
Wow, that is so powerful. Oh my gosh. So with you serving the 7 bridges and in the community feeding the homeless, is there any kind of mentoring that you do or anything?
So I work with other children as well. There's the Norcross community.
Okay.
I'm out there and I'll teach with their VBS and
Yeah.
any opportunities I get really to work with children, I'm there.
I love
I
that.
recently started doing exhortations with Seven Bridges too, so with the women's ministry. So
Look at you, you're just growing.
excited about that.
I see you are a beautiful flower that is just blossoming, Dawn. I mean,
Yes.
there's just such a large glow about you, and there's an anointing on your life. It sparkles in your eyes.
Oh.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And I don't say that lightly because you see it too, Regina, don't you? I mean, it's very big. This is just small beginnings for you. It's going to keep getting higher and higher. I see
I'm
it.
learning.
I see it. You're learning.
I'm learning.
Who knows? Who knows? You may end up having your own talk show one day. You know,
Possibly. Only God knows.
It could be a children's talk show. Who knows? You know, and you speaking and telling your story through this, somebody might see this and want you to come talk to their youth.
Okay.
You know,
Yes,
and
yes.
children, you know, to
Definitely
share the
open.
story. I love that. I love that. I appreciate you being here on the
Thank
show
you.
today. Can you tell us something that maybe that helps you on a daily basis to focus forward, that you could encourage the viewers out there to focus forward if they're feeling like they want to become an author, or maybe, you know, they went through some trauma as a child, and how they can focus forward to get their own healing as well?
Yeah, I would say one, staying in the Word. Two, affirmations. Affirmations are a big part of healing. And that's why I did this as silhouettes, so that people can begin to see themselves in
love
the
it.
affirmation.
I
So,
love it. So creative. Yes.
yeah, and just know that like everyone's in their own path right now,
Yes.
and we are all one. We were all created by the one God, and so each and every part, we have an opportunity to help others heal. We have the opportunity to tell our testimony,
That's right.
and as we provide healing through our testimonies, we receive healing. It's a
Yes.
two-way street
That's
all
right.
the time.
That's right. Now, do you understand why I wanted to have her on the show this month? God set that up. I was leaving Karan Joseph Riley's house doing his interview, and then I landed in Starbucks. Didn't even get to go in Starbucks, but she was in the parking lot. Guys, pay attention to the signs that God places before you, because you never know who is going to enter your path. And I got to meet this beautiful, wonderful lady. And you know what? I gave her one of my books, and then she ended up buying a book and sewing it into somebody else. Look at God.
Yep.
Thank you so much for being
Thank
on this
you.
show. We're going to come back at the end and kind of regroup and stuff,
Okay.
and tell how people can get in touch with you, okay?
All right. Thank
All right,
you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, we're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, we're going to have our next guest up, which is one of my friends with the magazine, Scars of Survival, and we're going to talk about why she has this magazine and what's her Pit to Purpose story. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. This is your girl, Robin Shockley, with the Focus 4 with Robin show right here in Atlanta, Georgia, here at the Galleria Parkway at the Regina Sunshine Global Network. And I'm telling you, I told you guys this is going to be an amazing show today. I've got my next guest on, and this guest is kind of special to me as well. It's because I'm a contributing writer for her magazine, Miss Sathya Calendar. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, this woman, she is so remarkable. She's got her hands into everything. She does so much. But I'm going to let her tell a little bit about herself and what she does today, and then we'll break it down to find out why you do what you do. Okay?
As Robin said, my name is Sathya. I am the founder of Scars of Survival, which is a nonprofit organization for domestic violence. I'm also the founder and CEO of Scars of Survival magazine, which caters to domestic violence as well. And I'm also the owner of Cutie Patooties Gift Boutique. We specialize in making those creative, cute little diaper cakes that you see floating around.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So, you know what? What gave you the creativity to come up with your own magazine? What made you do that?
It was in 2016 after I found the organization. I knew I wanted to have another platform for individuals to be able to share their story.
Okay.
A lot of people were dealing with a lot of women and men who were going through domestic violence, either
Okay.
surviving or trying to overcome. I noticed that a lot of them had the fear of sharing their story.
Yes.
And they had the fear of sharing their story because of judgment. And so after speaking to them and kind of sharing my story and helping them understand
Yes.
that I too can relate, I decided to, well, God actually gave me the vision to launch the magazine.
Okay.
And that was in 2016. However, just to show that things happen in God's time, not ours,
Y'all heard
it
that.
took until June of this year
Wow.
for
so,
me to
so
launch.
2 years later.
Yes.
Yes, I can relate to that. You know what? You have to walk in obedience to the perfect will of God. He gives this permissive will, and we make mistakes along the way, but He will backtrack us as long as we stay on the path to catch it. And it looks like, you know, this was the right timing, because I'm telling you, this girl's magazine, people are writing in this magazine left and right, because you don't just have women write. We have men in the magazine that actually write. And it's not just people that have felt the abuse physically themselves, but it's been children have been exposed to it, men that have actually been abused themselves, and so it comes from all different angles. And you put a lot of details. She selects topics, you know, and so she really breaks it down. You really work hard on that,
Yes.
and you know I love it. I love it because I've actually personally involved because I am a contributing writer. So what came up with Scars of Survival? Where'd that name come from?
It actually came from the organization, my organization, Scars of Survival. And after overcoming a 9-year domestic violence relationship myself, and then realizing that the scars that I had showed that I survived. And so after, finding my organization and really just allowing God to show me what I should be doing, that's when I came up with the name Scars of Survival. So because our scars do show, they show that we survived. And so that here we are.
I love
Not
it.
only an organization, but the magazine.
Okay, so you said that you dealt with it for 9 years. Was it a relationship that you were in? Or?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your story.
So it started when I was about 17 years old. I was
Okay.
17, and I experienced a little bit of it with my youngest son's dad. So I was 16 going on 17, and he was 28.
Okay.
And I experienced a little bit of it. Didn't really comprehend or understand that was domestic violence, although I witnessed it coming up as a child. My mom
So it
was
was
married.
in your home.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so I watched my mom go through it for about 7 years. And I got into a relationship with him, and it ended. And some years went by, and I decided to allow him to come back into my life, thinking, that he changed and all this wonderful stuff. And at first, when we got back together, it wasn't physical. It was no type of domestic violence. But it started when I was pregnant with my youngest. And
Okay.
it started off verbal, and then it became emotional, and he was controlling. and I just let it go.
So
and
how,
then,
you said you let him come back in. So why do you think you did he sweet talk you, or you just felt like it was a commitment because you were together, or I mean?
it was both. It was, I've been with him before, so I kind of made the decision to allow him back in my life. And then also just listening to him with the kind words, I've changed, I'm not the same, and being young, and not really understanding what domestic violence was. My dad wasn't in my life. My dad left to start a new family when I was 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
And so I didn't have a father in my life for a good while. And so it was learned behavior. It's something that
So
I
you
thought was
think-
normal.
Yeah, so and two, psychologically though, it could affect is a rejection that you didn't recognize that literally
Yes.
you could have had. Because, that's like with me, because I didn't grow up in a violent home. I grew up in a picture perfect home. So, when I accepted mine, I was like, where did this come from? But it's because there's always a root cause for something. And it could have been because your father wasn't in your life and you were looking for something to accept you. And that might be why you decided to take him back, because you didn't want to be left alone, or you needed that security, that emotional tie, or whatever it could be. So tell us what happened when you allowed him to come back and he started off not doing it, but then he built into the stages of it going to cycle again.
It definitely, like I said, it didn't start off physical. It was the controlling, the name calling, all of the verbal, emotional, and mental. And then eventually it became physical. And not to go into all details about, a lot of things, but I almost lost my life, because he choked me. And I literally, that was the first and last time I experienced, my life going in front of me. And it had to be God it had to be God for him to take his hands from around my neck. Because had it not been for God, I probably wouldn't even be here. And so fast forward, even with that, I still stayed in a relationship, and
Even after he choked you still stayed.
Stayed in a relationship.
Okay, pause. Because and the reason why I want to ask this, because I get asked this question all the time. Why did you stay?
For me, he had already brainwashed me into thinking that, he was the only one for me, that my family didn't care, nobody cared, nobody wanted me because I had 5 children, So mentally, that soaked in, and I began believing that, this is the only man for me. He really loves me,
Because what feeds us is what we tend to let take root in our life. So if we don't have, like Dawn was saying earlier, if we don't have the Word of God in us, we will be lost. We are doomed. That's how people are committing suicide today, and that's why they're dealing with so many mental issues, because if they don't have Jesus Christ in their life, you're lost, So go ahead.
So I just kept on and I stayed and I kept listening and hearing the same old thing. I'm going to change. It's going to get better, It's the drugs. It was always a reason behind what he was doing. And so I would stay and a
Or he
week
didn't
or
know,
two.
or he could said, I didn't know any better. I heard
It
that
was
a lot.
It was
Yeah.
always an excuse, and I believed it,
Yeah.
So a week would go by, 2 weeks would go by, and everything would seem okay, and then it would start up again, same pattern.
Yeah.
And so what really got me out of that relationship was my children. My kids had begun sleeping with knives under their pillow.
Wow.
And
you
I
had
said-
5 children, right?
5.
So they witnessed this. So they witnessed it. Okay.
And so I said, guys, why are you sleeping with knives under your pillow? And they said, Mommy, we're going to kill him. We're going to kill him. And I said, this is not about me. I can't allow this to keep going on. And so I had a friend that that one day witnessed over the phone the domestic stuff that was going on. And they said, if you don't get out of it, if you don't call the cops, I'm going to call the cops. And so I made the decision at that point to leave. I made that decision. Yep.
Wow. It was your kids finding out
kids.
that they were keeping a knives under the bed or under their pillow. That they didn't. It wasn't just they were scared. They were going to kill him. And parents, you don't get this.
Yes.
You know, it's one thing the kids don't see it, because that was my situation. The kids did not see it, but when the kids actually see it happening, you know what? You don't realize the psychological damage that it does to these children. You're breaking them, and you're causing generational failures that automatically take root in their life because of this. Please, please get help. Please reach out, because for many years, a lot of people don't tell because they think that, there's nothing available. Well, today there are things that are available. There are mentors, there's coaches, and we have the National Domestic Hotline, and you can call it. It's 1-800-799-SAFE, and that's 7233. So it's 1-800-799-7233. That's the National Domestic Hotline. It's very private. I even went on the line the other day to check it out, and I did it by the website, and they keep it, and so they record it. It keeps it so secret. It's very secret. So check it out. If you are in a situation, an abusive situation, whether it's spiritual, mental, physical, emotional abuse, make sure you reach out to somebody, not just the church, reach out to your friend, reach out to your parent, reach out to this hotline, because they are Satya, because, her story is so powerful that she literally saved her kids possibly from going to jail for murder. This is pretty big right here. So we have got to start taking these things serious, the effect that it has on the children.
Yes,
Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
being with us. If you could give some kind of encouragement to a man or a woman that could be watching this, or a young woman or young man that's watching it, how they can focus forward to say, what, they want to have a vision and a dream that's planted in them, and also to get help. How would you tell them how to focus forward?
First and foremost, I would say to put God first. For me, it's very important, to put Him first and to ask Him, for guidance, because that's something that helped me, when I was going through, and I had to seek God, and I know it was God that kept me. So I would say to seek God first, and ask Him for guidance and for direction. And then know that you're not alone.
That's right.
There's always someone that's going through the same thing, if not worse.
That's right.
So,
That's right. And
don't
they
be-
can relate. People do
Yes.
relate. Exactly. I
Yes.
love it. I love it. Guys, I thank you so much for being on the show. And guys,
You're
thank you
welcome.
for staying on this show. We got one more guest that's coming on. He's going to be amazing. I'm excited to have him. We've got a male in the house, and his story is not like no other. I'm telling you, his story is a little bit different than what you would expect. Stay tuned, and we will be right back. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Robin Shockley with the Focus Forward Robin Show at the Regina Sunshine Global Network. This has been an amazing show today, but we have another guest in the house with us today. We have DJ Grady Baby Radio. Yay! I'm
Hey.
so glad to have you with us, Grady.
I'm so happy and honored to be here with you today.
Yes.
Here with the Southern Belle.
The Southern Belle.
That's what I call it. That's her name.
He calls me the Southern Belle. I love it. Listen, let's talk about how we met, because we are both on the same team.
Yes.
We are with the World
World
Women's Conference and
and
Awards,
Awards,
and
yes.
we had met through Wanda D. Hollis,
Yes, shout
who
out
got
Wanda.
us in the room. We were having our meet and greet, I think is
Yes.
what it was.
So
And,
actually, the Atlanta launch.
the Atlanta launch, and we actually are on the publicist team together.
Yes.
We do publicist work together.
Right.
So I'm so excited. So on top of you doing that, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay, hold on. First, shout out to Lakeisha James, our chapter leader.
Yeah.
I do so much. I have the Grady Taylor Show on DJGradyBabyRadio.com. I produce, I write skits I produce my show, Dwan After Dark, Tisa Beatty's show, Stony Montana and the Kisser, and I help co-create Sip with Tracy. She does wine tasting, so yeah, I do a lot of stuff. That's just
You
with the
do?
radio station aspect.
That's just radio.
That's
Oh my
just
gosh.
radio.
What else? What else is it?
I also have, I'm a COO of Taylor Insurgents Group. We procure government contracts. Also, a major announcement. I just purchased a actual radio station / TV network. So yes, that's coming soon in the process of getting the domain names. So I'm so ecstatic. This has been a good year for me.
Oh my God!
Not a bittersweet year, but like that. I lost my
Yes.
mom this year, so
Oh,
that kind of gave me the motivation to actually venture out more. Because when I lost my adopted father back in '07, I wanted to do something to keep his name going. That's when I came up with the Grady Taylor Show. That way, I kept his name going. So now my mother passed. I just want to do something
bigger and
Something
better.
even bigger.
I
Yes.
love
And shout out
it.
to my team. Can I shout out my team?
Honey, go ahead.
Shout out to Gary, Shamika Moore, Wanda D. Hollis, Tisa Beatty, Tracy, Shamika Moore. God, so many names. The Grady Taylor family, Patrina Vickers, everybody. I love you guys. Yiddy, all y'all.
And the Oscar goes to. I love it. I love it. You know what? That's so cool, Grady. You're so sweet, giving these accolades and stuff, and that's so valuable and so
Yes.
important because of even with what you've been through with your story,
Yes.
you are doing phenomenal things, and there's so many great things that are going on in your life, and I just loved your heart when I met you. You're so energetic. You even
thank
came here when the girls were on the show last month, and you came and supported, and you were in the room doing pictures and videos and all that for us, and I just love it. And so, but your life hasn't always been positive, so
No,
to
it hasn't.
speak. So you have a situation that's happened in your life concerning domestic violence, and it's a little unique. It's really a unique story. You told me the first day that I met you, and I'm like, we got to get this guy on the show because I love to hear stories of people that come from the pit to purpose, but the way that his pit to purpose is so different because it didn't end up like you would thought it would have ended up too. So let's
Yeah.
talk about a little bit about your
I
story.
know very seldom men share their stories.
That's
So
right.
I only shared it with like a handful of people. This might be my second time on camera talking about
Wow.
this situation. But yes, I was a victim of domestic violence. It started when I was 1990, I want to say 4 or 5. And I always say it's my fault because I kind of caused it because of my actions. But actually, I don't know, just doing just out, acting like I'm single. I was married at the time.
Okay.
And this particular time, I really didn't do anything wrong. I actually stayed the night at my mom's house. And it was the night Tupac got shot. And so I stayed at my mom's house, and I didn't go home that night. And I went home the next day. Well, I woke up the next morning. I was on the sofa asleep. My mom said, your wife called looking for you. You need to call her. I was like, I'll talk to her later when I get home. Didn't pay no big attention, no big deal. And I hung out at my mom's house that Sunday. So that Sunday night, I went home, and I was accused of cheating, this and that. I was at my mom's house, and it was like, no, you didn't. And I was struck, but I had surgery, and I ended up losing my vision.
Okay,
so
wait. So you were
There's a lot of
so y'all got into it, and you argued, or
Yeah, I call myself doing like my adopted father. When him and my mom would argue, he would never say nothing. He wouldn't yell. He wouldn't raise his voice. He wouldn't who just listened to her. And I
Okay.
thought, like, well, maybe let
That's
me
how
ignore
you
her.
can handle it.
Yeah,
Yeah, by
and-
ignoring
yeah.
and not dealing with the situation and communicating.
One thing about
And so
talking
then
to a
what
lady do
happened?
not-
So then what happened was he said that you were struck.
Yeah, I just saw white light.
Wow. So
Yeah.
she actually came at you and
Well, like frustration to get my attention.
yeah.
Slap.
Okay. Now
But-
I will tell you, I never hit my ex, but I did provoke him, and I,
Yeah.
the thing is, you own up to the things that you do,
Yeah.
and I do own up that I did in the not later years, but the beginning years. I provoked him. I would stand in front of the TV and unplug it and say, "You gonna listen to me? We gonna talk because we gonna have a perfect man," all that. And he was like you because he grew up. He grew up in a home that had violence and breakdowns and all that kind of stuff, and so he didn't want to deal like you. He didn't want to deal with it. He just kept quiet. And so I was bringing more and more out of him. And so, you were keeping quiet, but this
Yeah.
woman didn't want to do that.
Yeah, but now the reason why I said it's my fault because I put her through so much,
Okay.
So we're real good right
Oh,
now.
well,
so
we'll talk
this,
about that in a minute.
Okay,
We'll talk about that
I'm
in a
sorry,
minute.
but
No.
okay.
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
So
But,
you went through that and you saw the light and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have.
Oh.
How did you react? Did you?
When at first I was just shocked. I was just like, man, like she hit me, and I just remember my buddy saying, man, she hit you, call me, So I was like, well, let me pick up the phone, and I left the house. So he came by and picked me up. So I was outside the house and in the yard waiting on him to come because I couldn't really see.
Okay.
Because I had eye surgery, maybe like a week so prior. So.
So you had
I had
eye
eye
surgery
surgery.
before
Yeah,
she hit you
yeah.
in the eye. Okay.
Yeah. So when he came to pick me up, I said, man, just take me to my mom's house,
Okay.
So she followed me from her house, from the house to my mom's house. And so I was like, I don't want to go, I didn't want to, I was like, man, drive. So it was, it felt like a movie. We dodging in around 75. She
Okay.
right behind us and whatnot. So we get to my mom's house. She was like, no, you're going to talk to me. You're going to talk to me. I'm like, I don't want to talk. There's nothing to talk about.
Okay.
I was here and it was my uncle, rest his soul. He came out. He's like, man, you need to talk to your wife. You need to talk. So we did end up talking and we ended up talking. But, the damage was done, But,
So how did you get to? Because you said the damage was done. Did
Yeah.
it cause permanent eye
yes,
damage?
I'm blind in my look. I lost my vision. And I think I was after that. I was depressed after that.
Okay.
It changed my whole way of life. I couldn't drive. Had to learn how to redrive. Had to learn how to read again because that was my left eye was my dominant eye.
Yeah.
So my right eye has always been my weaker eye, and as a child I had surgery on that eye. So
Wow.
I had to learn to, and how I learned how to drive. I would sit in the driveway. I had a sports car at the time, so I would sit in the car and just look at the speedometer, look at the road, speedometer road, so I can try to focus and to figure out where the speedometer was. I squint. So I had to actually just retrain myself on that, and then I was doing like mail room, shipping, receiving, so everything versus you had to read the numbers. The
So you had to
address.
redo
So I had to-
everything. So how
Yeah.
did you get to a place where you felt a peace to forgive her?
I grew up in the church,
Okay.
so
That don't mean anything.
no.
Growing up in church don't mean anything. Sorry, girl.
Well, I'll take that back. I'll take that back. I lived in the church. Shout out to my church people. We was at look at Monday nights, teachers meeting, Tuesday night, choir rehearsal, Wednesday night Bible study. So we lived in the church.
Okay,
So,
let's break it down. He lived in the church, so he was surrounded by the Word of God.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
let's break it down.
Yes,
Okay.
and I learned
yeah.
to forgive. And I'm still that way to this day.
Yeah.
I don't harbor or hold anything.
Yeah, and
I
grudges.
forgive.
See, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
You do something to me. Sometimes I walk away. It might take me a long time to walk away, but I walk in
Yeah,
forgiveness.
yeah.
Yeah, because we're supposed to be examples of Christ.
Yeah.
So you went through where you forgave her, okay, and so now you were telling us that how did you become where you were at peace with her and y'all were good? Y'all were on good terms.
When did that happen? I mean, it was shortly thereafter. It was.
Y'all divorced though, right?
Yeah, we're
because
divorced now. Remarried, yes.
Okay.
But I think her son had passed. Her son had passed, and we got back together because she was taking it really hard. Because we was together when her son was maybe like in like 9th or 10th grade when we got married, something like that. And so, went back.
So you did walk in real forgiveness because you did go back to her too. So, wow. So let me ask you, and this is very vital because there are men out there and they are getting, bullied by the women because women, we can be dominant, we can be powerful, and we can hurt with words and say things that we shouldn't say, and we can cut you to the core. I'm not like that because I don't even know how to go that route. But I have friends that are like that, and it gets me because I'm thinking, how can you say things like that? Because they would say, Robin, you need to go say this, and I'm like, I can't let that come out of my mouth because that's just not me, I'm a Southern belle. But saying that, there are men that grew up in the church, in the Word of God, about forgiveness and learning to walk away. I know a man right now, a young man right now, and what he does is when the woman comes in here and says things to him, he punches the walls or something to avoid touching her, and he's never laid a hand on her, and it's heartbreaking because he's getting bullied, whether it's mentally or physically, and it just literally breaks my heart. So how can you encourage these men that are out here that may be facing this right now, and they're, they got that male chauvinist thing going on, and they got that security image, and they don't want nobody to know that they're being pushed around or manipulated and stuff by women. How can you encourage a man to step up and say, enough's enough, and walk away? And sometimes you have to walk away. So how would you encourage somebody to focus forward to know to do that?
First of all, you talk to God, pray about it, and don't be afraid to walk away. Don't be afraid to start over. I read in the Bible. Also, you got to read your Bible because God. When you go talk to God in prayer, immediately pick up your Bible. And a soft tongue turns away harsh wrath. Okay. So you have to acknowledge it. My mistake I made, I didn't acknowledge it. Make sure you use the right tone and diction. And when you communicate, because soft tongue turns away harsh wrath, even though she's yelling, but just maintain your little registry and everything.
And do you believe in counseling?
Yes, definitely counseling. And also talk with somebody. If you don't go to a counselor, at least talk to an elder, somebody that could, help you. Because I surrounded myself with people that's 20 years older than me, and they gave me sound advice.
Oh, I love that. Do you hear that? He surrounded himself with people that were older than him, and they gave him sound advice. That's so important. So make sure if you're dealing with this and you are a young man or an older man, no matter what age you are, and you can relate to Grady's story, make sure that you're connecting. Get with another brother, or get with, a family member, or your church, or somebody that you can talk to, or call the domestic hotline. Again, it is 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-7233. And just share your story. Sometimes it's good just to vent it, get it out, let somebody else know, and they can kind of point you in the right direction, how you just take the steps to focus forward and to move. So thank you so much, Grady, for being on the show. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to have everybody come back and talk about how they can get in touch with you guys, okay?
Okay.
All right. Guys, this is Robin Shockley with the Focus Forward Robin Show with the Regina Sunshine Global Network. We will be right back, and we'll do a regroup. Welcome back, everyone. This is Robin with the Focus Forward Robin Show, and this has been an amazing show today. What we do here at the Focus Forward Robin Show with the Regina Sunshine Global Network, the purpose of the whole show is all about helping people get out of their stuck mentality through hearing true life stories of the guests that come on here to help you think, believe, and achieve a thing. And that's exactly what my guest did today, sharing their stories. And I'm so grateful that you come on. It's been an amazing show. Yes. So you guys are all doing different things. You all, the thing is, everybody's doing different things, but we all have something very similar. We all have dealt with domestic violence in some form or fashion, whether we dealt with it as a married person or whether we dealt with it in our childhood. And so it's very important for people to understand that, you know what, get help, speak to someone, encourage, and pay attention to the signs. There are so many signs. And with that being said, with Sathya, Sathya, with the magazine, some of the things you have people put in the magazine to pay attention to the signs. Could you share with us really quick, and then tell about who you are and how people can get in touch with you, but really quick, what are some of the signs of domestic violence in the home, or even just the abuse period?
One of the things that you can pay attention to is the emotional abuse. Just making you feel like you're less than, belittling you. Verbal abuse is calling you names, controlling you. Telling you where you can go, when you can come back, what time.
Yes.
Keeping you kind of hidden from family. And just keeping you, not allowing you to be around family and friends.
And you know what, that's so important too, because I just was in a movie, and it's called Southern Tea, and it's about a woman who went through a domestic violence marriage with 2 small children, and she leaves him, and they get a divorce. Actually, he wanted the divorce, and they get a divorce, and she's trying to discover herself and find out her true identity, and and she didn't understand who she was, but she had to finally regroup herself and get out there in the world. And so, but she had friends, and they didn't know the signs, or it didn't seem like they knew the signs. So that's how it is. This happens. And also, there is a stage play. I put some plugs in. There's a stage play that I'm fixing to be in, and it's called Bitten, and it's by KKE Productions. And what is so amazing to that is that it's about a woman who dealt with spiritual abuse. Okay, the spiritual abuse is where the perpetrator will point out the Bible and put quotes in about the Bible to manipulate you and make you feel like you are worth nothing, and that God thinks this way, and this is the way it's supposed to be. A woman needs to hold her place in the home. I mean, he would use all these different things. And my star I'm saying my star because he was my co-star in this Southern Tea, is Ron Godfrey, and he plays this guy, and it's really, really going to be a phenomenal play. And so that just reminds me, because I didn't realize the importance and the significance of what spiritual abuse is. So it's not just the mental, emotional, and all that, and physical, but there's spiritual abuse. So pay attention to the signs. If your friends are saying that, this is what he said, I just serve God, and I got to obey what God says in his word. Not if a man is manipulating you with the word. That is not God. Okay, make sure you talk to somebody about that. So,
Yes.
Sathya, how can people get in touch with you and get contacted with you if they want to be a part of your magazine?
Yes.
Maybe a sponsor or something.
So on Instagram and Facebook, I can be reached at Author Sathya Calendar, and that's SathyaCallender. I can be reached Facebook and Instagram as well, Scars of Survival or Scars of Survival Magazine.
Okay.
So both of those platforms, you can message me or send me an email.
Okay.
The information is on there.
Okay. And also, we have Dawn here, and she shared her story, which was really amazing, and so with her blogging. So tell us a little bit how people can get in touch with you as well, and the significance of your book that you've written, and how people can get a hold of your book.
Okay, so the book is available at IamWhateverISayIam.com, and the blog is available on OutwardSelf.com, And I'm also on Instagram and Facebook at Dawn Ali, ALI, and Outward South as
Okay,
well.
awesome. Okay, Grady, tell us a little bit about you because you do a
Oh,
little bit of everything. So,
yes.
what's the main location where people can get in touch with you to connect? If they want to be a guest on your show,
Okay.
or if they want to sponsor, or if they want to, do anything connected to you.
Okay. It's amazing. I'm here with authors. I just also left off a co-host, Wake Up Winning No Matter What. Book is right now is in pre-order. You guys can go to my page on Grady Taylor. It's on there. I'm definitely going to be posting on DJGradyBaby.com is the website. You can submit topics. If you want to be a guest, you can come on and you can register to become a guest. My email address is crazygradyradio@gmail.com. Please, and I will post where you guys can pick up the book.
I love it. I love it. And guys, this is how you can get in touch with your girl, Robin Shockley. Everybody knows I'm the social media queen. I'm all over social media. So you can reach me on Instagram under Robin Shockley. You can go to Facebook, Robin Shockley, or go to my Facebook page where I do inspirational quotes and videos and positive motivation. It's Focus Forward with Robin. And if you would like to be a guest on my show, reach out to me. If you've got a story, a pit to purpose story, just like my guest today, I would love to have you on the show. I'm always looking for sponsors, right? Because I don't live here in Atlanta right now. Currently, I live in South Carolina. So I do have to travel the distance. And I do have to pay, to get down here and food and all that. So if you would love to become one of my sponsors, I would love to connect with you. Please reach out to me and we can maybe work something out. But it's been an amazing time on the show today. This is so valuable for October month to bring awareness to domestic violence. And I will do a little plug because this Saturday there is going to be a walk. And we failed to mention that,
Yes.
but please tell us a little bit of details about the walk taking place this Saturday, really
So
quick.
this Saturday at 9 o'clock in the morning, we'll be meeting at Stone Mountain. And I am partnering with my friend Anthony from Always Live Atlanta. We are coming together to do this walk. And so we're bringing individuals, men and women, who want to support domestic violence. And we're going to climb the mountain together.
Climb the mountain
and as we're
together.
going up the mountain, we'll be taking photos. When we get to the top, we're going to take photos. Ask that everybody wear purple. Also, in honor of domestic violence, but also helping with homelessness, we're asking people to bring canned foods. And those canned foods, Anthony will be giving out to the homeless.
I love it. I love it. That's so amazing. And guys, make sure when you go to my Focus Forward Robin page, you can follow Girls Gift for God. I failed to even talk about that outreach that I do. Real quick about that. We are doing donations taken up for my friend in India, and that's partnering with Come On Inc. Incorporated with Dr. John Williams, and we have these bags that we are selling, and 100% of the proceeds that we make for these bags in 2020 will go directly to an children's orphanage in India. So we need your support. Please message me if you would love to contribute, because God told me that I was going to be going to the nations. I might not be in physical form right now, but I'm speaking it to believe it, and that's what's important. If you have faith to believe as a mustard seed, it can happen. Believe, sow where you want to grow. I wanted to go international. God put that on my heart. So I began sowing and investing, and look at me now. I'm with World Women Conference and Awards. I'm with Regina Sunshine Global Network. I'm with Come On Extraordinary People Resort. It's amazing. So guys, get yourself in the room, as I always say, and let the room work for you. And that's exactly what we did today. We made some networking connections.
Yes.
A lot of people are making connections in this room. You got to make it work for you. This is Robin Shockley with Focus Forward Robin. You never know where I'm going to be, and we are here at the Regina Sunshine Global Network. Remember, if you think a thing, you believe a thing. If you believe it, you're going to achieve it, just like we're all doing here today.